I'd like to welcome everybody to the Dodge City Community College Coaches Show. Here today at the preseason preview of the football team, we have head coach Gary Thomas. Nice to see you again.
Appreciate it.
Coach, your season gets underway for the number 8 ranked team in the country here, and you guys get going on Saturday. How good is it going to feel after preparing for so long?
Nervous, more than excited, probably. Not even sure in a good way yet. I'm sure that'll change as we get closer to game time. But going out there with 10 freshmen on offense is going to be a scary venture. I don't care who you are and where you're at. Yeah. Every time I tell people that we're young, they say, "Well, you're in community college. You're supposed to be young.
Mm-hmm.
You're always a little bit young." I mean, which is true, but we're really young.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing. And you never really know where you're at depth-wise. So you've got to stay healthy. 2 of the 3 years that we've been here, we've been able to stay healthy, and the 1 year that we didn't, we weren't very good, and we fall off pretty quick, and most people do. So we've just got to get graced by the health gods and hope that we can endure and do things the right way and stay healthy.
Yeah, like you said, it's one thing to be young at a junior college, and then in your guys' case, really young.
Absolutely.
You guys had a scrimmage last Saturday at Garden City. How do you feel the team looked in terms of execution?
We did some things well. Super nervous. The young guys on offense specifically, early on didn't handle things well. But again, we were facing a defense that we don't face on a daily basis. We're a 4-man front. They were a 3-man front. We spent maybe a day and a half preparing for it. But it's rules-wise, it's very different from what we do. So we were teaching new guys that barely know the rules of what they're supposed to be doing anyway, some new rules. And so we had some miscommunications and some breakdowns there, but I was impressed with our physicality. I thought our offensive line held up. That was one of my big concerns. I thought our defensive line was dominant at the point of attack, which wasn't a concern, but it was a question mark more than a concern. We're big and strong there, but we've got a lot of new bodies and new faces. So, we completed some passes down the stretch when our twos versus their twos and stuff like that. But we did a lot of things well, and I felt pretty good. Felt a lot better leaving than I did when I got there.
Always a good thing.
Absolutely.
So you guys were picked second overall in the KJCC preseason poll, only behind Butler, team you shared a conference title with last year.
Absolutely.
Does that change anything on how you prepare heading into the season? Make maybe a bit of a target on your back as one of the teams to beat in the conference?
Yeah, absolutely. We said this. Saw a picture of. Obviously, we both have conference championship rings, but Butler put the score of our football game on their conference championship rings, which good for them. It's a just like us, they did things well and played well, and they beat us in the head-to-head. But jokingly as a staff, our comment was, when do you think the last time that the score of the Butler Dodge City game was relevant in the last 30 years? And it was a big enough deal to them
that they put it on
their ring. So we feel good about the process, the progress that we've made. But that's what I'm trying to convey to our guys now, is that we are currently riding on the accomplishments of others. The guys that earned the preseason number 8 ranking and the guys that are predicted to come in second, they really aren't here anymore. A lot of that is going off of how we finished last year and less about what we have now. Listening to the other coaches though on the media day, I think a lot of them are strangely young, just like we are. So they don't have a lot of guys coming back, and it just might be one of those years where a lot of people are super young. And we've got a bunch of guys coming back on defense. And again, we were first in the conference in defense, so I feel pretty good that we should be there again. But we're breaking in 2 new corners, we're breaking in a new safety, we're breaking in a new sandbacker, and 4 of those D linemen are all brand new. So there's a lot of question marks on that side of the ball, but even more on offense. So we feel good about the ranking. It's always nice to be recognized for doing something well, but the thing that I like about it more so than just being recognized as being good, because it's really irrelevant. We haven't accomplished anything yet.
Exactly.
But it's hard to get yourself into the top 10. I mean, you could very easily win 9 games like we did last year and finish number 11. It's just hard to crack into that top 10, because when you're starting from an unranked deal, where it depends on when you lose as well. If you lose a couple early, you can get yourself back in. If you lose a couple late, you're pretty much done. So it's a hard thing to even get there, and for us to start that high, we can kind of control our own destiny. But again, we've kind of put ourselves in a position of being the hunter instead of the hunted, and need to convey to our guys that we still need to be the hunter, because that's the mentality that got us to where we're at.
Yep.
But people are going to take great pride in beating Dodge City Community College, and that wasn't the case for the better part of probably 20 to 25 years before we got
Yeah.
here.
So your first game is at Highland Saturday night. Last time you guys met the Scotties, you handed them a 51-26
Mhm.
defeat in their season finale last year.
Yep.
So this will be their second game in a row that they'll see you guys.
Yep.
Do you expect to see anything different from them?
Everything, actually. They got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, so they'll be much different than they were last year. They had a great defense last year. I don't know much about their defense. We're kind of going to feel our way through the first quarter or so, and we think we have an idea of what they're going to do. But you know, they can come out and really do anything they choose to. So
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of a wait and see deal for us, and try to adjust on the fly, and hopefully we can make the proper adjustments and not put ourselves into too big of a hole that we can't dig ourselves out of. But they're going to be much different than they were last year, at least schematically.
Yeah.
Personnel wise, really don't know much about them at all. Haven't seen a roster, haven't seen it too deep, so I couldn't tell you who they're. Well, I know their starting quarterback. I think that's about the only guy that I know, because he was their starter last year. But you know, other than that, it's going to be a lot of new faces on both sides of the ball, and it's going to be an interesting first quarter and a half as we both kind of feel each other out.
Yeah, you mentioned that kind of wait and see approach, not knowing a whole lot about their new offense coordinator, defense coordinator. Currently, the forecast is calling for rain on Saturday night. Do you think that'll affect any way that you guys might change things schematically, or depending on the forecast?
You know, I don't know. You know, I try, in being in Kansas now for a couple of years, I try not to overreact to weather too far in advance. We'll start worrying about weather as we get closer to when it actually may or may not hit. You know, it supposedly has been wet there over yesterday and the next 2 days leading up to the game. Again, one of the only, maybe the only grass field in the conference that I can think of, which, you know, we're not accustomed to playing on grass. We practice on turf every day. It's kind of a tactical advantage for them. You know, but they don't get to practice in the rain and the mud either, so that doesn't necessarily kind of offsets that deal. I mean, at the end of the day, you think in games where it's wet, you know, the team that's going to be able to run the football and control the ball and not turn the ball over should be the team that wins. So we've got to be good on special teams, and we've got to be good making sure our ball carriers can hold on to the football. And I feel good about our run game. I feel good about being able to do things. But you know, it's difficult to, when all you can do is run the ball and people know that you're running the ball. It's difficult to get much going. And if the rain's coming down at a rate where neither team is going to throw the ball, you know, that does become a challenge at that point.
So this is your fourth year in the conference now here at Dodge City, and as you know already by now, playing the KJCC on the road is never an easy task. Highland last year, they went 4-1 at home. So do you think it'll play any type of importance for them to be at home, playing in front of their home crowd, season opener, maybe a little bit more energy going from the crowd?
Well, I'm sure they'll be excited. You know, playing at home in their opener and against the number 8 team, who they, you know, probably feel like they have a chance to match up with, obviously is going to generate some excitement. You know, our deal is, and we talk to kids all the time about being really even keel. We can't, you know, we can't ride the roller coaster of emotions, the highs and lows that go on during the game. We've got to, you know, we've got to celebrate the good stuff, let the bad stuff roll off our back, and prepare for the next play. And it's such a long season, and there's so many highs and lows emotionally that if you ride that roller coaster, you're just going to be drained by, you know, game 4. So we really try to take a lot of the emotion out of it, and you know, we try to enjoy the experience, but we try to make it more business-like than personal. It's, you know, it really comes down to us doing our job well, and reaping the benefits from that. But you know, I don't know that they have such a great home field advantage that we can't overcome. We've actually traditionally played really well on the road. You know, we've gone on the road and beat a lot of ranked teams. They're not necessarily a ranked team, but you know, we beat them at their place in 2013. In 2014 they beat us there, and then we beat them here. So we, again, when you're you know 5-2 in the conference in 2013 and you're 6-1 in 2015, we didn't lose at home or on the road very much. So I mean, we feel good about the structure that being on the road gives. Sometimes you're almost at a disadvantage when you're at home because of the distractions that come with being at home and being in the dorms on a Friday night and all that kind of stuff. So being on the road doesn't bother us. You just hope the kids don't kind of get, you know, starstruck by all the stuff that's going on and get, you know, distracted by all of the new things that they're going to see and some of the new venues. You know, we're going to go practice at K-State on Friday. We're going to practice at KU on Saturday. So they're going to see some really cool things that they've probably never been a part of before. And you know, we eat pretty good on the road, and,
Yeah.
and you know, we stay in hotels, and so that's all going to be new experiences for a lot of these guys. And you know, how they handle that, especially as young people, is going to, you know, probably have a lot to do with the outcome of the game.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate
We
it.
look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.